Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. We are still on our third save file here. We're still churning away at these mom's heart kills. You know who has some decent unlocks, and I hate to say it, but Lilith. Alright, so how do you prep for this one? Well, first, you look at the seed. YBVD P1RY. I don't know why that makes me think of pirates. Pyrie. YBVD Pyrie. Alright, how do you prepare for this one? Well, first, you take a sip of a delicious cran raspberry LaCroix. And yes, I do truly find it delicious. I am a fan of LaCroix. As a fan of LaCroix, though, I will say I do also find the LaCroix flavor jokes hilarious. I don't know if you've seen those, but I saw a tweet a while back that was about LaCroix, and it was saying about new LaCroix flavors, you know, like hint of lime, tropical cardboard, what was it, like single Skittle dissolved in water. Things like that. There was another one I really liked. Like a strawberry, but with low battery. That was it. Rosary is good. We could get the Rosary. That'd be nice. A little more HP, because I do tend to get hit a little more with Lilith. I hate Lilith. Lilith is my least favorite character. I've gone on record. I think Lilith is hard to play in a way that I find obnoxious and not actually, like, I don't feel like it improves upon my experience, only detracts. Like, just, I feel like Lilith just makes it hard for me to aim and dodge at the same time. And just not in a way that, like, I think is interesting compared to other characters. I'd rather play Keeper 10 times out of 10 than play Lilith 100%. And our unlocking of Perthro has paid off. Alright, let's go in here. We'll pop this. I mean, we don't want to Perthro the Rosary. We might want to Perthro it's from the boss, but likely we'll just want to save it for the devil deal. Okay. Got the screw, so we don't want to Perthro that. I'd really like to get a bomb. So let's see if we can get a bomb. Somehow. I don't know what I was thinking would happen in there, because we didn't have enough money to purchase a bomb anyway. It's probably not going to happen, huh? So, goodbye, Rosary. I'm sorry. Down a little bit more LaCroix. But I do like LaCroix. LaCroix, for me, is a nice substitute for water. I really enjoy water. But sometimes I like to mix it up a little bit, and LaCroix is a way to mix it up without being too unhealthy. I say too unhealthy because it's a spectrum. And I think people get up in arms about, like, LaCroix, that's carbonated. It's bad for you. Like, it's maybe slightly bad for your teeth. Is about what it comes down to with LaCroix if you really look into it. Compared to other things, you know, people are out there drinking a ton of soda. Even diet soda is way worse. Although diet soda is actually still not bad for you. Look it up. It's a spectrum. That's what I don't get. Like, people will be like, people take this stuff to, like, extremes. Like, diet soda, okay, is not as good as drinking water. Or diet soda is not as good as maybe drinking, like, LaCroix. LaCroix is not as good as drinking water. So diet soda is not as good as drinking water, obviously. But people will take it to extremes and be like, diet soda, it's just as bad as regular soda. But it's really not. It's really not at all as bad. And if you look into it, the reason they say diet soda is bad for you, because I've looked into this extensively. I don't even drink a lot of diet soda. I just was occasionally drinking it when I was counting calories, and I like to be informed, and I read up on a lot of stuff all the time. We don't want that. We might want to Perthro that, because we could still just grab it by walking on the spikes. The reason it, like, they suspect that diet soda, like, shows up as bad for you in studies is because the people who drink diet soda have bad diets. And so they have these other health problems, but it's not the diet soda's fault. Right? That's the old mistaken, the old correlation for causation. We do it all the time, and we can't avoid it. Even scientists can't avoid it at times, but Look, permit me to go on a rant, as if I'm not already. Imagine that wasn't a rant, and boom, here comes the rant. Here comes the rant. Okay, it's the sound of your dad. We're living in an age of misinformation, and the best thing you can do is to fight it by being, ironically, more informed. But there's a lot of misinformation out there, so you gotta learn, dude. You gotta learn. How do you handle this one? I think we take this. Take this. Per-throw that. Oh, I mean... No. But then again, no. We're gonna go to the curse room. You gotta learn. You gotta educate thyself. Learn some statistics, because I believe in a science-based approach to things. I think... approaching things scientifically has always been important to me in my life. Even more so, I think, as a dad, because I want to teach my daughter, like, because you know, misinformation is increasing at an alarming rate with a 24-hour news cycle and social media, etc., etc. And my first reaction when anybody tells me literally anything is healthy skepticism. You know, like a sort of like prove it type attitude. Not in person, because I'm not an asshole, right? And that's a fine line. It's an important line to walk, where you can just smile and nod when somebody tells you some crazy bullshit, and then you go home and you Google the shit out of it, and you laugh to your spouse about how stupid they are. It's a delightful experience, honestly. I enjoy it quite a bit, regaling Casey with stories about dumbass people and the dumbass shit they told me that they believe. Someone openly told me that they believe this today. And maybe they do the same thing about me, who knows. But I don't think so, because I tend to be very informed. And I mean, maybe they're informed by different sources that are wrong, because I really take this like rigorous scientific approach to things. That would be my opinion anyway. But you gotta learn your statistics. If I had advice for you, I would say learn how to read a scientific study, learn how to separate correlation from causation, learn your p-values and your, you know, what's really important is biases, because that's one of the biggest things and the hardest things. And even I can't say I'm good at this. I can say I'm good at like looking at scientific studies. I can not necessarily say I'm good at separating myself or eschewing my biases. But that's important. There's a great infographic out there. I might share it in the Discord. I'll drop the link to my Discord in the comments of this video, by the way, or in the description. I need to write that down, or I will not remember to put that in there. I'm gonna write Discord and then underline it, and then I will wonder why I did that later. Daddy Longlegs is fantastic. I think we doubled Daddy Longlegs with Box of Friends too. But there's a great infographic out there. It's like common biases. Look it up. It's actually like super informative and helpful. And if you can teach yourself to be acutely aware of even like half dozen of those, you're miles ahead of like the general public at large. I promise you. So interesting, but we can't do it. Or I don't think we want to do it anyway. Biases, you know, separating yourself from your innate biases, confirmation bias, selection bias, all those kind of things. Very important. And it's just very important to me, like, as a dad, because I want that to be my daughter's first approach out there. You know, people are trying to sell her on things or teach her things that might not be true or might not be accurate. Whenever she's young and vulnerable, I want her first approach to be like, well, you know, prove it. Or like I said, you know, smile and nod and then ask dad when you get home. Everybody should have a dad they can ask for confirmation of these things, you know? But yeah, it's hard though, because like the risk then, because I do believe in this scientific approach, and I do it with all things. I do it with things from like things that are more straightforward, I guess. Like in my opinion, dieting is pretty straightforward, although some people would disagree with that. Gotta Guess we'll take this. Let's go back. Actually, let's not go back. I want to get the boss rushes, Lilith. Like, I think of like something like dieting as like straightforward, whereas, but I also apply a scientific approach to something that's not as straightforward, like a creative pursuit, i.e., you know, YouTube and Twitch, like content creation. I read up on like metrics, analytics, like optimized ways to do things. I put a lot of like scientific method, I guess, in a way I would describe it as, into my thought when it comes to my Twitch channel, which is not necessarily the way a lot of people approach it. And creative processes are a little different. Like, I don't think your approach has to be science-based for a process based on creativity, you know? Like, if you're an artist out there, you don't have to be trying to discover the scientifically best way to paint. You know, like, I don't think that has to be the case, but I think, you know, maybe some artists would benefit from a little bit more scientific process into like how they market themselves, how they distribute their art, how they choose a platform and measure success and those kind of things, right? But, you know, dieting is a weird one. Dieting's really a weird one, and one that sort of annoys me because I lost a lot of weight recently, right? And I've had several people at work and in like friend circles sort of notice, and the exchanges have mostly gone like in this kind of manner where they ask how I did it, right? And for me, the answer is very straightforward. I believe that, you know, if you're talking about losing weight or gaining weight, if you're talking about like an overall like holistic diet that has like other benefits, it's maybe a little bit of a different story. But if you're talking about strictly, I want to lose weight or I want to gain weight, I want to move this number on the scale, it's literally scientifically 100% proven to be calories in versus calories out. But then so when people ask how I lost so much weight, and I start to go into, you know, it's just I just ate less. And I made a spreadsheet. I literally tracked exactly how many calories I took in during a day. And then by doing that, the spreadsheet I was using sort of calculates how much energy I expend in a given day, like what my like equilibrium is. And then I just made sure to eat a certain amount less than that, and I lost weight because that's how mass works. But like, people don't, in my experience, people don't want to hear that, right? They want, because people, generally speaking, when it comes to something hard like losing weight, are looking for the easy way out, and it's unfortunate. It's the truth. And so I could see like the eyes glaze over when I'm talking about losing weight in this method, or just see, you know, how when you're talking to somebody and you just see their attention just sort of just drift away. That's what happened all the time when talking about this. The spreadsheet is on Reddit, by the way. I believe it's called TDEE version 3, something like that. It stands for total daily energy expenditure, the TDEE part. And that's what it's meant to calculate. And then, you know, if you want to gain weight, it tells you eat, like, you know, between 500 and 1,000 calories more than your TDEE. And if you want to lose weight, it tells you to eat between 500 and 1,000 calories less. It's very simple. But it's not easy, right? And it's not a panacea, essentially. So we're gonna take our, you know what, I will come down here because I'm not scared of this room as Lilith. Let's fight here. We're gonna take our Perthro into the boss fight though. But basically, like, I don't know, in things like that, things that are accomplished, and most things are, by hard work. You know, if you're not getting somewhere, if you're not accomplishing the things you want to accomplish, I think way more often than people think it is, the reason is you're just not working hard enough. And some people, I'm one of those people, I think I'm very good at recognizing that in my own life. Whereas a lot of people live in fierce denial of that fact. Like, I know my Twitch and YouTube channels could be more successful if I worked harder. And I can make an excuse. I could say, like, it's time. I don't have enough time. I just became a dad. How would I have the time to put in more time on my YouTube channel? But then I also, like, sit and play Tetris 99 sometimes. Or I sit and watch streams myself sometimes. Or I sit and binge, you know, Netflix with Casey. Which is like, this, like, relationship building time. Don't get me wrong. But it's also time that I could be taking some chunk out of. I take too much leisure time, I think, and I can recognize that, and I can say, like, well, that's a choice, but it means that I can't be like, oh, I don't understand why my channel's not succeeding. Not like I'm not trying hard enough, essentially. But nobody wants to hear that, you know. It really, because a lot of people are narcissists at heart, and they don't want to believe that it's their fault. Or even if they're not narcissists, like, your mind just sort of rails against that negative feeling and just wants to, bleh, get out of here, spit that out, you know? So if we want to get to boss rush, I gotta hurry the fudge up here. I did take Mr. Dolly because it's a decent item. And we have a Perth throw to take with us. We unfortunately can't manage, like, all the Perth throws we got on this floor. All right, let's rock and roll. We got 6 minutes. I don't think it's gonna happen, boss rush, anyway. But that's why I think I've sort of learned, like, when people ask me, when people see something that I'm successful at, whether it be, like, content creation or, like, something in my place of work or, like, success in a relationship or, you know, people, I've even had similar experiences with people asking me about, like, Casey and I's relationship and things like that. I've learned to just kind of, like, give my 2 cents and not really go into it, because a lot of the time, you know, people will make it clear if they actually want to listen. A lot of times they're just looking for, like, hey, is there an easy way I could be like you? Nah, well, forget it. You know? You know, it's just a hard, like, dieting, I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, there's scientific evidence that, like, because people will come out and say that they have an extremely slow metabolism, right? And here's a conversation that I will say from experience, because I had this conversation and I pissed some people off. Is that you don't want to have with people who are, like, overweight. But if people are overweight, there's, like, an extremely small percentage of the population that actually has, like, what would scientifically be determined as a low metabolism. The rest all fall within, like, a 96%, like, range. Like, 96% of people have, like, relatively normal metabolisms. And so what that means is those people are just not, they're not eating less. They're lying to themselves. They're miscounting calories. They're messing up. They're, like, cheating and not counting, like, a little snack here and there, you know. They're vastly overestimating how much, like, actual exercise they get. Like, you know, they work in an office job and they list themselves as lightly active when really they're sedentary, you know, on an app or something like that. Like, there's a multitude of explanations, but really it just comes down to, like, either A, you suck at this, you're doing it wrong. Like, you're doing it wrong, or you're not trying hard enough, which are sort of like two sides of the same coin, kind of. Because if you're doing it wrong, you could just, like, try harder at figuring it out, I think, which is a weird way to phrase that, but you could do better. So we got Cricket's head out of that stone chest, which is pretty sweet. We finally got a store upgrade here. And we could make it. We could make it. Cricket's head bodes well. That's going to be a Perth throw as well, I think. Like, I think it has to be, because that's the only one we've unlocked that, like, faces that direction. Get him! Get him, boys! Get poisoned, sucker. But I don't know. And especially... Yeah, we'll take up all advantages. It doubles with the box of friends. No one wants to believe that with, like, dieting, you know? And nobody wants to believe it with creative pursuits either. Like, creative pursuits really boiled out. They're a little bit more, like... Can a little bit more be like, you suck at this? But I still, like, I don't know. I think... Like... A lot of people, like, even when they say... I suck at this. Like, oh, I suck at talking, like, out loud. I could never be a Twitch streamer. You know, if you really wanted to, it's a skill you can practice. Trust me. You can get better at monologuing. You know? It's... Yeah, nobody remembers any creator's first video. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, just think about it. Have you seen, can you, like, do you remember your favorite YouTuber's very first video or very first, let alone stream? Because streams a lot of times are, like, lost to the ether. They're not archived or whatever. But, like, nobody remembers and nobody cares. Like, you develop over time, you get better. And that's why I say, when I said earlier, like, you don't want to, when you're taking this science-based approach, which, again, I super advocate, it's a very good idea, I think, to take a rational, scientific approach to endeavors and things you want to succeed at. But, however, when you do that, that's why I say you don't want to major in the minors, because I see it all the time everywhere I go, and even in my dreams, I can scheme of ways to make our mind. No, I see it all the time on, like, I subscribe to a couple different subreddits related to content creation, and they're mostly garbage, and here's why. So, there are a very small percentage on every single one of these kind of, like, platforms, forums. There are a few people who are genuinely, like, smart, dedicated people who are offering up advice, and they're, like, sharing cool tips and strategies. And then there's a lot of people who have not even started and just want to be Ninja or PewDiePie with minimal effort, right? And so you'll get all of these posts saying, like, when is the best time to stream? What is, like, should I use a webcam? Like, do you think this green screen looks good? And blah, blah, blah. And asking, like, a million questions, right? And it's okay to ask a million questions. But sometimes you go to this person's profile. Not even sometimes. The default is you go to this person's profile on Reddit or Twitter or whoever, and what you find is they have asked these questions for months and never actually just started streaming. Just made a YouTube video. Just turned on, like, pressed record and practiced the thing that they say they want to be amazing at. And I think you find that in every single pursuit, creative pursuit, like, ever. Unfortunately. It's not relegated to, please die, thank you. We have time, we can go to the devil deal. Take this. Don't take that, because we want to maybe reroll these. Yeah, we want to reroll those. I'm gonna be greedy, and I'm gonna take the pencil. Wafer was very, very tempting there, but I think we'll live. Of course, we face bloat right away. I think we'll live. Come on down, bud. I think we will live, and I think pencil will be really good for us long-term offensively. Alright, so we just need to get a charge, and then we can start doubling up here. No, no, no. Please die, so that I can just fight death over here, wherever the heck he is, dude. But anyway, I mean, yeah. So people end up they do what I call my favorite term for it is majoring in the minors, you know, or putting perfect before progress. I think I've heard it called before. Like you know, your first stream is gonna be. I will tell you right now, it's gonna be shit. If that's what you're trying to do, your first painting is gonna be ugly as fuck. You know, everybody sucks. Babies suck at everything. They get better by doing it, you know? Like, I'll tell you, my daughter, she sucks. She can't draw for shit, right? She can't walk. She's horrible at walking. She sucks at talking. You know, she's not great at even eye contact. Super bandage girl, ayo. But she's gonna get better. And just think of yourself like a freaking, if it helps you, think of yourself like a freaking 5-month-old. You won't, I mean, I will tell you, you will not ever be as beautiful as my baby girl. But you might be better than her at other things. I mean, probably not. She's awesome. Alright, so this is where Lilith obviously really shines. We knock out Boss Rush here. Runs have been going great, but runs are easy. You know, at this stage in the game, we don't have the hard characters. We've got nothing but good items unlocked. Life's a dream. Merrily, 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 and all that. Excuse me? Excuse me? Wow. Runs have been going great. He takes 2 damage to the face immediately. Let's not use this time, because I think we're close to done here, and I'd like to have it for the next floor in case we run into trouble, because we are going to be a little weak from an HP perspective. Okay. Oh, there's a battery, though. Immaculate Conception. That's nice. Okay. No tinted rocks in here, right? I mean, that'd be nice, but I don't think there are any. All right. There we go. Anyway, all I'm saying is get off your ass. Like, and this is me turning it, like, becoming my true dad form, I guess. Like, I'm officially a dad now. But I think it's just an epidemic. Like, there's so many situations where I see someone complaining about not being successful, and they appear to not be trying. And I have I cease to have sympathy at a certain point, right? Like, I cease to have sympathy. Either they're not trying hard enough, like, either they're not trying at all, like I said, like, not even getting started, like, haven't even tried, or they're trying the same thing over and over again. And I'm guilty of this, right? Like, this is the part where I say, you know, I'm just as guilty. I'm not trying hard enough. I don't iterate enough for as much as I would like on my stream. I need to try new things. One of my goals this year is to fail at something. I want to fail hard at something. I want to take on something that is too complex or more than I can chew, or, like, you know, just taps me out, because I think I'm too comfortable in a lot of like situations. Why does this room exist the way that it does? Why would you do this? Go. Okay, we did it. Please, never to return. I don't know if I've ever seen that room before, and it was hell. I mean, I play a lot of the time as, like, the Lost. That room would be cake as the Lost, because you can just fly over it. The tower. As Keeper? Like, dude, I don't know. That's what I was hoping for. I thought maybe there'd be a secret room on one of the sides of this room, and I was correct. You know what? Do this, too. All right. But, you know, I want to make it clear that I'm saying I think this is a problem with humanity. I think I have this problem as well. You know, where a lot of times I'm looking for, like, excuses why something's not going well, and I'm just not doing it. I'm not doing the thing. I'm not making it happen. I'm not doing it. I'm not putting as much thought into it as I should. You know, a lot of times I turn on the video, or I turn on the stream, I hit the record button, you know, and I've done no prep. Sometimes those streams go fantastic, right? Because I've gotten better at this, and sometimes I can just be, like, off the cuff. Sometimes they're horrible. I tend to do better when I've done some kind of prep. Like, for instance, for this video, I've got notes. I'll pull back the veil. I don't mind it. I've got notes that I wanted to talk about these things that we're talking about right now. And that might, you know, maybe that disillusions you. Maybe you think I'm just rambling on. But I'm a little out of practice. I haven't been making videos, and I was a little bit disappointed with how the commentary went in some recent ones. And so I wrote down a few notes, a few topics to prattle on about. And that's extra effort, right? That's me, like, looking at something that's not going well and saying, like, I want this to be better. What am I going to do to make it better? Well, let's try this. Let's try taking notes, writing down some topics, see if people respond well, see if I am happier with the content that comes out as a result. If I am, we keep doing it. If I'm not, we change it up again. Or we go back to the way things were. There's no, like, downside, really. You know, I'm happy with that. We still get a health up because we get the soul heart and we get a couple of keys. I'm happy with that. Let's go. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, part of it is start, you know, whatever you're trying to do, you have to start. Part of it is keep going, but you can't just keep going, you know, because if you know, it's that old, you know, it's the stupidest. The definition of insanity is trying the same thing and expecting different results. But I mean, I wouldn't even say insanity. Like, that's stupidity. You're being stupid. You know, you can't just be like, I've been streaming for 3 years, you know, and I don't understand why I don't have any followers. Well, yeah, but you turn your stream on and you just sit silently in front of the cam, and you're not even very good at the game you play, and you play a game that's, like, dominated by 100 other creators. You're playing one of the biggest games on Twitch, so you're competing with the big dogs. You haven't really put any thought into it. You haven't put any effort into it, and you're just repeating ad nauseum. You know... Now, you know, there's caveats to all of this, obviously. Like, maybe somebody who's playing a huge game on Twitch is just wants to do Twitch as a hobby, and they're not treating it as much as like when I'm here doing Twitch and YouTube, I want to succeed, right? Like, and there's different metrics for that success. I don't know if I'll ever be like full time. That's a goal of mine, and that's why I treat Twitch the way I do. Like, I put on the mask, I put on the face of a full-time streamer, I feel like, in the quality I try to bring to my stream and my videos, in the caliber of effort, I guess, and just the professionalism, you know, act like you've been there before is a phrase I've heard tossed around. And that's how I try to act a lot of the time. You know, dress for the job you want and all that. Because that's what I want. If that's not what you want, then, you know, we're comparing apples to oranges, and I gotta apologize, you know. But if that's not what you want, then you also can't complain that you're not growing, because you're saying, you can't be like, oh, I don't want growth, but why aren't I growing? Like, it's not okay. Like, because you really do want growth. You're just not willing to put in the effort, right? And I don't know how many, like, fledgling creators there are that and if you're not a fledgling creator, I don't know if maybe you find this conversation boring as hell and you're like, talk about the game, but you know, we don't really need to talk about this run. This run is good. We beat boss rush. We're gonna beat whatever is in our path, probably, no problem. But you know, so my goal this year is to fail at something, and it's not really like a New Year's resolution. I don't really do that necessarily, but no, I would prefer cancer, please. I don't really do New Year's resolutions per se, but I just thought, like, I want to take on something and like just fail at it. And I'm going to try some new things. I want to try some fresh things, you know, extend myself in a bunch of different directions and see what takes, see what sticks, and see what doesn't. What's the worst that could happen? I mean, it's not like, you know, that might be dangerous for someone, like if you are PewDiePie or something. Going in like a crazy new direction might be crazy because you have a lot to lose. I don't have a lot to lose when it comes to my YouTube/Twitch channel. I have a great community, but like, it's not like, you know, I took a big break and so things are in sort of a lull, and it's a good time to experiment is all I'm saying. I'm not saying like you guys are nothing to lose. I don't ever want to. I actually did like temporarily lose my YouTube channel. You can go back and see like search my channel for like AdSense disabled. Like, my AdSense was disabled. Oh, we didn't get the portal, though. That's lame. I wish I had taken the shovel. I actually did get my channel, like, my AdSense disabled, and my, like, channel was maybe gonna go under, like, sort of as a result, or just, like, be, like, maybe banned. And it was, like, one of the worst days of my life. I was so freaking stressed. Casey will tell you. 100%. She will tell you, dude. Ah, man, where's my devil deal? Take me to the devil deal. All right, I think we're done. I think that is it, unless... Is this the floor that had the Fortune teller? We could. No, we can't get an AWAS. There is no AWAS. We didn't unlock AWAS. We've only got Perthrow and Yera unlocked, I think. Oh, it's not fortune teller anyway. Lame. All right, we're done. But anyway, that's my rant on work hard, trust science, but freaking work hard, dude. Get to work. Go to your room and get to work. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like or a comment. It always helps me out a great deal. And if you'd like to see more Binding of Isaac, Afterbirth Plus content, and other content when it comes out on the channel, please subscribe. I'm Accidental Grenade, and thank you so much for watching.